This is WPTV News Channel 5 at 5.
In just over 3 weeks, an almost year-long eviction moratorium is ending. Tonight, we're going in-depth on this topic to help you better understand what it means for our community.
Since early 2020, more than 100,000 evictions have been filed across the state of Florida, 1,800 just in Palm Beach County alone. WPTV News Channel 5's Sabira Rayford speaks with one woman tonight who's been helped by the moratorium.
Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County says it's seeing an increase of renters at risk of losing their home. The question is now, what happens when the eviction moratorium is lifted? Inside this home in Lake Worth,
it's very scary.
The clock of stability is ticking.
I am very concerned.
This is Kim's home.
Probably been almost 2 years.
Her sister-in-law owns the property and Kim pays the lot rent. Her first year here?
It was good. We were working. We were paying our bills.
Kim was making money cleaning stores at the mall.
March 23rd was our last day in the mall. Everything started to go.
Bills began piling up, and $960 a month from Social Security
wasn't enough.
After months of making partial payments.
They just stick a note out there on the gate. You have 5 days to vacate.
We've seen an increase of people reaching out to us because of not being able to pay rent, because they are facing eviction.
More than 9 months ago, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention enacted a temporary federal moratorium on evictions for people impacted by the pandemic. Danita Jones, the lead staff attorney with Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, says the moratorium is based on non-payment of rent cases. She says the first step is delivering a signed declaration to the landlord.
The eviction moratorium also does not stop evictions from occurring or from being filed, but what it does is that it stops the final action of the eviction from occurring.
The moratorium was set to expire on June 30th. The CDC extended it through July 31st, calling it the final extension.
We may see an avalanche of evictions that take place and that are finalized.
There is help available.
What we are hoping, though, is that the word gets out, that there is rental assistance that is available through the county's emergency rental assistance funds.
The county received $45.2 million. The community services director says they've spent more than $12 million helping residents pay their bills. Kim was one of them. The Lord's Place connected her with the caseworker.
Penny sent me the paperwork to sign and send to them. I think that's when they started finally leaving me alone.
The Lord's Place is helping Kim pay her lot rent, but she knows the clock is still ticking.
Stay positive. We'll get through this. You know, we have to.
Legal Aid says they're also working with renters to seal evictions to keep it from impacting their record. Reporting in West Palm Beach, Sabira Rayford, WPTV News Channel 5.
If you are evicted, it can affect your ability to rent in the future. So here are a few things you can do to find housing after an eviction. Experts say work really hard to improve your credit score and make sure that it's accurate. You can also ask your old landlord to clear your record, but you would have to pay any outstanding debt beforehand. Experts say look for privately owned properties and be really honest about your past, explaining what happened and the steps you intend or have taken to prevent it from happening in the future. You can also offer a large deposit. Having a list of prior landlord recommendations also is a big help. And while it may seem like a long time, evictions, they only last on your rental record for 7 years.
Well, the eviction moratorium is also having a big effect on landlords. WPTV News Channel 5's Matt Cesney continues our in-depth look.
At the Coquina Cove Apartments in Palm City.
Here at Coquina Cove, we have 256 units.
Jeff Gustafson admits the pandemic was not easy.
The first few weeks, we were trying to figure everything out like everyone else was.
And what he found, like many landlords, was the rent stopped coming in.
We had to pay our vendors, utilities, landscapers, everybody. So yes, it was, we had to keep our expenses rolling and cover them.
Moratoriums on evictions, which had prevented landlords from taking any action on tenants, are now winding down. At Coquina Cove,
luckily our residents here have all weathered the storm.
Jeff Gustafson says only a small number of tenants had difficulty paying rent, and nearly all are now back on track.
You know, there's certainly good landlords and bad landlords.
Sean Plymel is a litigation attorney who knows about real estate law in Stewart.
Evictions are definitely happening. You know, in preparation for today, we actually went and looked at and we pulled up 5 or 6 evictions that have gone through.
Plymel says evictions are happening when tenants cannot meet the criteria set in the CDC's moratorium guidelines, which may expire soon. When that happens, he says the decision to evict isn't always an easy one.
Certainly one of the challenges for landlords right now is, you know, it's very difficult when they come to me and they have to spend more money to try to evict somebody that wasn't paying in the first place, and so it becomes cost prohibitive.
Which is why he says landlords should try to communicate with tenants and try to work something out.
Absolutely.
Something Jeff Gustafson says he's glad he did.
Change our policies, and we really tried to help people through their situations, and we're almost like a caseworker in a way where we had to help each individual, help them figure out things.
Really, the recommendations for landlords are similar to those for tenants. Keep good records, especially any kind of correspondence or letters that pertain to settling disputes over rent. In Stewart, Matt Cesny, WPTV, News Channel 5.
What does the eviction process look like? The Florida Residential Landlord-Tenant Act spells out the tenant and landlord responsibilities. By law, landlords must inform the renter in writing about non-payment and possible eviction. If payment isn't received, then the landlord can file for an eviction with the courts. The renter needs to respond within 5 business days, and then a judge makes the final decision. If the judge sides with the landlord, law enforcement would post the notice on the property, and at that time, the renter has 24 hours to move out.